Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Talent Bytes, hosted by Jess Morgan, the Chief Transformation Officer at Instant Impact. And today I'm delighted to tell you that I am joined by Alice Ivanoff, who is co founder and CEO of Kokoon, which is an AI early careers platform. Alice, welcome.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Really excited to dive in and learn a bit more about your product. So tell us a bit more about Cocoon. What is it? What does it do? And also kind of how did you come to make and build it?
Yeah. Maybe I can start with the latter part of your question. Um, we've basically started building this because Gen Z will soon be 30% of the workforce, and most people have no idea how to manage them. I think there was a recent study that said 70% of managers have no idea how to manage their junior talent, which we thought was a bit insane. So it really started from this. We wanted to help managers and early careers just work better together. We have been early careers, we have been managers, so we get the pain point. And so basically what we have built, and I'm excited to show you, is essentially what we're calling an AI assistant manager. The goal is to enhance the manager and kind of remove a lot of the grunt work, the daily check-ins of things where they don't add value, and then be able to really support the early career a lot more, be like the best manager you've ever had. So that's sort of the 2 second sneak peek teaser version.
Um, how did you kind of stumble across this? Like, I guess, or come up with the idea? Was it like from a unique case that you'd been through, or that you'd seen out in the market?
Yeah, the idea we had, so I met my co-founder when we were working at Amazon together, and Amazon hires loads of graduates. And we were at that time just before and after COVID, because I joined the early 2020. And we basically saw a big shift in how early careers and the graduates were coming into the workforce, how different it was suddenly to be either fully remote or hybrid, the different interactions, but also that we had struggled with exactly the same things. And I think I don't remember, but my co-founder has a good memory and says, we had this chat where I said, it is crazy, like someone really should help them out. And he was like, maybe that should be us. So it's very much, we just saw the pain point, we just saw the issue firsthand. And that's kind of how it got started. To be very honest with you, the AI is fairly recent. We've been working on Cocoon for the past year and a half, but we've just been focused on solving the problem, not necessarily building a solution. So the tech is new. What we've been doing basically for the last 18 months is understanding how we can truly help young people and the businesses they work in. And so we did soft skills training programs, we did onboarding programs, we built an e-learning course, we tried a bunch of different stuff to see how we could truly help young people, and then got great learnings, and that's how we then build the AI. So it's a bit of like, we saw the issue, we tried a few things, and then pivoted towards a scalable solution.
That's perfect because you've almost done your own kind of testing in the market to figure out exactly what's needed. Um, and then I guess my other question before we dive into the products, I'm sure everyone is excited to see it. Is AI? Lots of people I talk to on this podcast are experimenting with AI, or their tooling is premised on AI. Um, it's flooding the marketplace now. It's only going to get more and more prevalent, as we know. How do you see that playing out for your product and for other products in the area? And how do you differentiate between the ones that are coming on that aren't like ethical or aren't right versus what you're trying to achieve?
Yeah, it's a really great question. And I'll be honest with you, like our hope is really not to build another chatbot, another wrapper around ChatGPT. I think the world has enough of those. And I will say as well, the key focus we've had is because we're building a product specifically for early careers, we've been very much focused on how do we serve this population best. And what we've noticed is it's most likely the most vulnerable generation to use that product. It's most likely the generation that will use it the most compared to others, but also that haven't yet built maybe their critical thinking or are able to distance themselves or know actually what does good look like or bad look like. And so the big thing we wanted to do whilst building AI is to not build an over reliance on the tech. And so we don't want it to be, I ask you a question and we give you the answer. The point is very much, you ask me a question, I ask you another question to see how we can get you to, how we can guide you to the solution, how we can make you, learn a skill or, change your behavior. So this is truly how we're differentiating, I think, in the tech side of thing. And the AI is, it's very much not a, ask you a question, here's the answer, chatbot type thing, but more the way that we were building it is very much how can we drive true behavior change. And to be honest with you, this comes because we've done so many trainings. We trained over 200 early careers, and it was wonderful, and we got great satisfaction results and performance increase. But people forget everything after a training. And so we thought, okay, well, we don't just want to then give them the solution, give them a training. We want to give them the training and the support, but how can we support them daily and like really guide them slowly so it's long-term change and we truly add value, rather than just, oh, they can ask ChatGPT or whatever tool and it just tells them the things for them and they don't even know if that's good or not, and people can tell that it's written by AI. So that's truly how we're trying to be different than any other tool.
And you're getting presumably pretty good feedback and traction from the users of it as well.
Yeah, exactly. So we're early stage. I'll show you the MVP that we have right now, but I sent it this morning to a few clients, and I said it's probably already outdated because we're making so many progress at the moment because we have our first beta users. We're onboarding our first customers next week. So we're in the very exciting part where we get to hear the feedback, see how people are using it, how much they're using it, where do we add value and what needs to be tweaked. So next few weeks, it's kind of the next few weeks are very much focused on the product, the development, learning from our users. But mostly the kind of core focus we have is how do we make sure people want to use it, and how do we deliver quick value for them that they actually feel supported and their managers can notice that. So yeah, lots of great feedback so far, but looking for a lot more in the next couple of weeks.
Great. Well, listen, without further ado, let's dive into the product. I'll let you share your screen and then we can take a look at it.
Amazing. All right. So we'll just start first off. So here's how you install the app. Basically just showing this because it's one click and then you can start using it right away. There's no complex tech stack, additional login, which we know heads of HR are a bit tired of. Then what it does is you can start chatting with it right away. It'll retrieve information from Slack. So currently we're integrated into Slack. So it'll know things like your name, your location, your job title. And the goal is, from the first few interactions, as you'll see here, is to be able to assess kind of a high-level skills map, but then also personality traits. So here you'll see the user is saying that it's stressed. So it's storing this to be able to adapt the tone for the next future interactions. You'll also notice, I've mentioned this, right? It's not giving the answer. Here it keeps asking questions to be able to help you, kind of assess what's going on and then guide you to a clear action. Pause it there just a second just to show. So this would be the next day, for example. So you'll get a morning ping. So you'll see it comes to you first and it'll say, hey, what's top of mind? As I've said, there's lots of changes that have happened on this. We're doing a few conversation starters and a lot of changes to the UX to make the conversation even smoother. You'll notice here it's action oriented again. So the point is not to say, 25 deals, let's focus on those, but what's one thing you can work on right now? What's one key action? And then when it senses that you've got it, it stops asking you questions and it lets you get on with your day. Then in the afternoon, it pings you to check in with you. So a little bit like a great manager would do, right? It's a bit like an accountability partner and a great buddy. You'll notice here it remembers what the person said. It says, in today's focus, we're working on this. How did it go? How do you feel? We're also storing this in a longer term memory. So on a Friday, we can send kudos and say, hey, you've done these 5 things this week. Like that has been really, really good. One last example of a morning check-in. So here we would have had a few interactions. So it remembers the tasks, it pulls it from the memory. And then if it notices that there is an issue, it senses that there's a struggle. So in this case, the user says, I'm struggling with cold outreach. It scans the knowledge base and then it sends specific training that we've created.
Let's talk about cold outreach.
In this case, cold outreach.
Basically one of the most common ways that people do sales, and chances are you will also.
And then, so that's kind of the whole database that we've created. And so we'll be able to scan and send you relevant training. The last thing I wanted to show, so this is very much a sneak peek. This is the next feature release, but we're working on a user dashboard. So they're able to understand how they're doing, what's their energy level, their confidence score, what's the progress, what's on their mind. So they can have a little bit more of that confidence and understanding, their growth. And this summer we'll release a manager dashboard as well. So they can have an aggregated view of their team, understand their morale, confidence, and be able to identify top performers or people who might need a little bit of help. That was my 2-minute speed demo.
Awesome, thank you. I'm really interested in the in this idea about having this in Slack as your like everyday coach, just alongside what you're doing, helping with some challenges. Do you see it being used in a performance management way?
I guess for the simple answer is yes. The basic use case we've built it on for now is to really help early careers with kind of their time management, prioritization, and kind of stress emotions, because that's what we saw from the hundreds of people we've coached and mentored, was that was the main issue. People just didn't know what the expectations were, what to work on, etc. So we said, well, if the first thing we do very well is this, help them know every day what they're working on and what's needle moving, then that's already huge. And for sure, then the goal is, okay, well, we know what you've done this week and we know what you've done well. We also know what you struggled on. So we know what training to send you. We can do a skills map and show you how you've progressed. So slowly we're moving towards more performance management and giving the tools to, to managers as well. The ambition is not to build another Lattice or other tools that do this very well, but just to be able to give information to managers based on what they want to see, and essentially enhance their, management capabilities, instead of creating a tool for specific, it's just onboarding, it's just performance management. It's meant to be like the best manager you've ever had, but empowering managers, if that makes sense.
Yeah, great. And then how do you feed it? Is it fed by the company kind of handbooks, L&D guides, and that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I always love this question because that's a key thing, that the two questions I get from customers is, what will managers see, and can I put all of my company information in this? So definitely things we're looking at right now in our MVP. There's no training of the model. The basic things that it has is our knowledge base, which is all of our frameworks, ways of coaching, all of the training, all of the things we've built from the past 2 years. So that's what it uses to give answers. But really, the work on the AI, and which I found quite fascinating, is we're not training it to give answers. As you've seen, it's mostly asking questions, but it's based, to not get too geeky, it's based on AI agents. And so what we've done is, it was essentially, we've mapped out my brain. So we say, here's how I coach someone, here's where I notice they have an issue, here's how I assess, here's why I ask the next question. And so we basically have a bunch of different AI agents that have different roles. So one will be the one that, if there's an emotion mentioned, it'll put on the emotion cap and say, oh, I'm going to fix this. It says stressed. Let's work on the stress level, give them one practical thing they can do. If it's sensing that you're pretty confident, you know what you're working on, it'll go more to BAU agent and help you kind of, work on your day. We're looking at doing calendar integrations, to-do list integrations, to be able to help you schedule things, read your to-do list, stuff like that. So that's more the work, and the training in itself is, how do we create the best kind of reasoning AI, rather than, oh, here's all the information you need. Because as you've seen, it's mostly asking you questions and guiding you through.
Oh, that's amazing. I can see the power of this, and also people get more and more comfortable relying on like virtual assistants and support in a kind of digital way.
Yeah.
I can see it being really powerful. So thank you very much for sharing with us.